Stephanie, does it work? Can you see the screen?
It's perfect.
Perfect.
And is this where the EC switches off their cameras?
Yes, please. Well, I don't mind because I can't see anybody anyway, but I think it makes sense. Good. So, as you said, welcome to the 54th EMIR conference, virtual again, unfortunately. And these are the points I would like to lead you through in my little presentation right now. First, we always, as usual, have to start with the antitrust statement, which I will read to you. Then I will give you a brief overview on our activities, on the members, changes in the EC, any particular activities we've done in the EC, and yeah, a second brief glimpse at the conference agenda. But let me start with reading the antitrust guidelines first. So the following specific guidelines shall be observed. We do not discuss or exchange information on rates, underwriting guidelines, policy forms, individual claims adjustments, reinsurance plans, or how markets shall respond in reaction to changes in governmental regulations or withdraw from a particular class of customers. Neither do we discuss any individual relationship with distributors or anything regarding competitively sensitive matters. The full text of the antitrust statement can still be read up in the Constitution. Good. So I hope one day we will be back in that kind of setup in a presence conference as we had them last in Vienna and Singapore. But for today, let's go through the virtual conference. Just a reminder again, what were the visions for EMIA that we presented last year until 2025? We want to become a reference organization for all engineering standardization matters. We want to become far more data-driven than before, and I think we are on a good way on performing here and doing that. We extended our indices lists quite a bit. So from the previous premium and claim stats and the rate change index, we added a lot of new stats which are highly interesting and will be presented to you in the course of this conference. Online presence, yeah, partially forced like today, but also we want to become more visible online on webinars, etc. And you have seen our new presence on LinkedIn, certainly. Become more global, tackle the white spots, and I'm glad that we managed to get a couple of new members also from these white spot countries in the meantime. Become more diversified. That's for the EC and hopefully also for the delegates, that we get here more diversified. At least for the EC, I can already announce to you that we are on a very good way of doing that. Enforced by corporations and partnerships, so very intense interacting with other associations, especially LEG we had, but also we look at IUMIs or ERMIs. And on that occasion, a special thanks to the Aviation Association, which was very instrumental in helping us doing the transformation into a CLG. And last but not least, influential through visibility and conspicuousness. So with the objective, brokers and others cite EMIA in their publications. And also here we had some good proof that this is going to happen. So what's up for this year? There were certainly a couple of highlights you will all remember, and we will go through in our presentations today again. Corona, that's unfortunately still there with all its accompanying circumstances, cessation of works or travel restrictions as we face them right now. NatCat and climate change, unfortunately, also still a very high topic. We've seen the heat waves, be it in Canada or in Italy. On the opposite side, we had seen the Texas freeze. A colleague of mine has sent me, or HSB has sent me actually a couple of pictures here at the bottom where you can see how familiar people in Texas, Houston are with snow and ice. So wearing pajamas for going out and chopping wood. There were the wildfires, there were the floods, like in Germany. There were tornadoes, and last but not least, very recently, hurricanes in the US picking up again. Other than this, there were claims, awkward claims now, again, like cyber ransom attacks with the pipeline we saw in the States, the glacier-late outburst flood in India, or a Miami condo collapse. All these things happened throughout the year. Sorry, that was too fast. No. Okay, and what we did on the activities on the EMIR side for the accomplishment of our vision, we offered 5 webinars and 4 more are to come. We have 4 working groups who deliver their paper. We added 2 permanent working groups to that, and on that occasion I would like to mention and also thank the members of these permanent working groups, once established by Simon, now taken over by Francesca, and supported by Sharok from SCORE, by Yipin from AXA, Theodore from Liberty, Arne from Swiss, Michael from SCORE, Sophie from AXA, and Martin Kaut. And Francesca will extend if I have forgotten anybody here. And then we have a second permanent working group to be established now by Simon, which is the cyber working group. We had 3 news sheets, and EMIR became more present on LinkedIn since April this year, with more than 20 posts, 480 followers, and thanks to Francesca for having set that up. We had 8 EC meetings. We had 3 EMIR relationship calls. We had about 4,500 emails on my account, and we were very busy with the CLG transformation, writing the articles and the new charter. And okay, I want to leave it like this because everything else will be presented now in the during the conference. What happened as well? Well, there is one thing that I think that everybody is very pleased to note is, I would call it, the market is coming back, or the market is back, however you want to see it. So according to that graph that was once shown by Jörg from Partner E, we are getting into a fund phase again, and I think everybody is very happy and pleased with this, like that little one here on the bottom. But we have gone through a lot of cycles in the meantime, and you can see that on the right hand side, cycle years, starting with 82, 83, continuing. Now we are in 2021, and the big question will be, how is this going to continue? So will we go into a drop again very shortly? Will it keep rising? Or will we start something completely new and get into new realms like innovation? We'll see about that. You will have your strategies about it, but we hope that we can support all your decision makings with respective stats and indices to at least have the full transparency on the market where we are right now. As regards EMIR, the figures here you can see pretty stable when it comes to the number of members. A bit of slowdown now in 2021. You can see that maybe insurance companies, reinsurance companies, etc., they all had a slight drop. There's even a bigger drop now in the number of delegates. Maybe I haven't accounted for all of them yet, but we have to see the reasons for it. But we are still more than 125 people right now, because very recently a couple of new companies have joined us as well. When it comes to the distribution of countries, you see there's again a backshift into Europe. That's something against the vision that we wanted to say we get more into the white spots, but there's still a task to do, and I hope I can motivate, or we can all motivate, colleagues from other continents and countries to join EMIR in the next years to come. Right, what's in this EC? Well, there are a couple of new faces, as you can see. We have now Manuela Baroncini, who joined us in April this year. We have Isabel Kowalski from SCORE, just joined recently in August, and same Francesca De Rosa from AXA, also Switzerland, who have opted and agreed to join the EC. and hopefully to be confirmed by all of you members and delegates at the end of this conference. We also made Andy Kane our official LEG liaison officer, because Andy is also in LEG, and we have a lot of conversations with Andy and Tim. And Tim Chapman is going to present LEG a little bit later as well. In addition, we have, as I said, established the permanent working groups. Simon de Jong is in the process of setting up the cyber permanent working group, and has handed over the data and stats working group to Francesca. And Francesca will show us the results of the analysis of what we did this year in short. In particular, I wish to thank Guido on behalf of all of us and for all that he's done and created in the EMIA EC since he joined like 6 years ago. But he's now taking up different opportunities. So he left the EC. Amongst others, Guido was in charge and doing excellent job on the academy. And yeah, and that has been a particular challenge now in the recent years with COVID-19. With the same gratefulness, and also sad to announce that Simon has opted to leave the EC as well. We are nonetheless thankful that he will stay with EMIA by leading the permanent working group in cyber. Simon's been always very enthusiastic about whatever we do in EMIA, and he's been a great support. So now is a good possibility to check if you can handle the control panel. And I would ask you to just raise your hand on the control panel as an applause to Guido and Simon. Okay, I can't see whether it works or not, but I hope you all have joined the applause. And thanks again, Guido and Simon, for having been so helpful.
Lots of applause, Stephan.
Lots of applause, great. Thank you very much. So what's up for today? Here's the agenda of a very brief virtual conference. So not 3 days and no partner programs, unfortunately also no gala dinner. But we hope that we have put a couple of very interesting topics here on the agenda. Manuela will lead you through what happened in the engineering market in the last 12 months. Then Richard highlights the new working groups and the working groups we had last year. Then we have Brendan and Selko, who will present the working group paper on landslides. And just before the break, Mike and myself will lead you through the changes of what we are having ahead of us with EMIR CLG. Then we have a coffee break with a vote and a poll, which I will explain later. After that, Dieter will continue with the country stats. As I said, Tim will highlight the cooperation between EMIA and LEG. And then Simon and Francesca will lead us through the very interesting topics of all our new stats and indices. I can promise you already now, they are really fantastic to look at. Almost last but not least, Max will present us the financial results, which are still sort of comforting, taking into consideration that this is now the second conference we can't do in presence. And then at the end of the conference, we will go through the general meeting with some further resolutions on EC members, etc. And hopefully can also present you the result of the polls. And now, without much further ado, I would like to hand over to Manuela. And just a few words. Manuela is, since March this year, she's Global Head of Engineering and Construction at Swiss Re Corso. She is in London still. And before that, she was with Zurich. And I hope with such a lot of experience, Manuela will give us now a good presentation of what happened in the last 12 months.